What's up, everybody? Unrested back here again with another JFAQ, and this is going to pretty much concern a trip that I'm soon taking to America. I am headed out to Las Vegas for Christmas, and it made me think of a really good JFAQ question that people have asked before in the past, and that is, when you live in Japan long term, how do things change for you? Such as, how do things change about your opinion of your own country? How do you look at your own country? How do you feel when you go back and visit? Does your English dilapidate? Do you become worse at speaking your mother tongue? Do you start to become more Japanese? Well, let me go ahead and try and answer a lot of those questions today in just this one JFAQ. So, first of all, let me say that if anybody ever tells you that you will become worse at English, they're somewhat right. You will start to let your English slip a little bit, and I think that's kind of why I do some of these videos. I think doing YouTube while you are in Japan, because you don't get to use very high level English, allows you to still execute some of those bigger vocab words for your English listening audience. Of course, some Japanese audience that do watch this too say they enjoy these videos because it allows them to expand their own vocabulary. Nonetheless, yes, you will start to lose some of your bigger words if you don't do something that allows you to use them in a daily exercise. So I will say, if you don't want your English to start to fall apart, but don't get confused. You don't forget how to speak your own language. If anybody ever tells you that, they're completely joking or lying or, I don't know, pulling your leg or something. I actually have had people write me and say, will you forget how to speak English? No, I don't think that's even possible. I'm no kind of language major or have any kind of specifics on how the brain and languages work, but I'm pretty sure you wouldn't totally lose what you had learned for your native language. I don't see how that could happen. Nonetheless, you will start to notice that maybe some of your English sentences start to rotate around more Japanese thought. Your manners will be more polite, I would imagine, unless you already come from a very, very polite country. I come from America, which we're not necessarily impolite, but I will say we are more outspoken. I don't think you'll become quieter, but I think you will think more about what you say before you say it after having lived in Japan for a very long time, thinking about not hurting other people's feelings. A lot of the time, I think one of the great things that Japanese people practice in their daily life is only speaking to someone about something that they enjoy or like. For example, the rule of if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all really applies here in Japan, and you will start to find yourself exercising that more even in your own English speech when you return to your own country. Now, speaking of returning to your own country, you will start to notice after you've lived here a long time. I would say I didn't get to visit my own country again until 5 years after I had moved here, so that was already a pretty decent amount of time. Now I've been up here 8 years, and the things that strike me most that really, I guess, stir emotions or feelings or whatever you want to say, nostalgia in me, is just even visiting stores that you haven't been to in a long time becomes like a huge present to you, a huge gift. Just to be able to go back and eat your own foods that you enjoy quite a bit, to try old desserts that your parents used to make or that you could just buy at the store, or favorite dishes, little things. You'd be surprised. They become just something you really appreciate when you go home. Just even seeing logos from old stores that you used to visit in your youth or when you were younger or right before you left. All that stuff just comes flooding back to you. I've had people even tell me, even after only being here 1 or 2 years, just finally getting back to their hometown and visiting all those same places again just floods them with nostalgia, and they have a lot more appreciation for it. So I will say that's one great thing that happens, is that things that you probably took for granted before, you become hugely appreciative for. You start to really enjoy the little aspects of things a lot more that you missed out in your own country while you were living here. You will start to notice that your knowledge of slang starts to fall apart. The newest slang words you won't be able to keep up with. You just won't ever hear them used or practiced here. You'll probably start to see stuff online that you'll be like, what are they talking about? I've never heard of this. And you'll have to go use Urban Dictionary and find out what the heck's going on. Maybe different technology will come along, or different way things are done. For example, before I left America, we had Blockbuster, which was a place which you went to rent videos. When I came back, of course, everyone was using Netflix and Redbox video rentals.
no one had even heard of Blockbuster for quite a long time. Whereas here in Japan, we still have Tsutaya, which is pretty much the Japanese equivalent of Blockbuster, and people still mainly rent videos. They don't stream a lot of videos here. So that really surprised me too. I didn't expect so much had changed between my country and this country that I'm living in now. I guess other things will be like music. You'll fall really behind on music and movies. Unfortunately, there's just no way around it. If you're big into social media, if you're big into all different types of entertainment, such as movies, video games you won't fall behind on. You'll actually probably be a little bit in front of or above or ahead of all your friends who know what's coming out because quite a bit comes out from Japan. For example, we got Monster Hunter 4 for 3DS way, like Monster Hunter 3 was finally translated and coming out in America, and 4 had already been out for ages here. Same type of reverse thing will happen with movies. For example, people are still recovering from how much they love the movie Frozen. And I mean, that's been out in America for how long now, right? You have to wait for it to come here, be translated, and usually they'll have one that's subbed and one that's dubbed. They'll have to wait for both to be done. That means they have to wait for the voice actors too to finish their recording before the movie can be put out in the theater. So you'll find you're way behind on what's come out, unless you've really kept up online and looked at all different types of websites related to that. Music too, it's really hard for me to keep up. Of course, you'll be way ahead of everybody as far as Japanese music's concerned, but I don't know where your priorities lie. So that's just a little things, some different things that start to happen. I'm sure there is quite a bit more I could cover. It's always great to come home and see all your TV channels. One thing that you will notice is Japan does not watch a lot of TV. There is shows on here that people regularly watch at nighttime, but not many people get cable here, and even if they do get cable, cable only adds like 20 channels or something like that. The most channels someone might have here in Japan would be like 30 or 40 channels, would be a ton of channels on your TV here. TV just isn't as popular here as it is in the US. Shows made in Japan are just nowhere near the budget of shows in America, so they tend to be not as fantastic and tend to be just a lot of like cooking and variety shows. So you'll always be flabbergasted with how amazing the sets look again with the TV shows that have come out since you've been gone. You'll be like, wow, I can't believe everything looks like a movie on TV in America and everything looks like it was a YouTube video here in Japan. Literally, I mean, like shows literally don't have much more quality than YouTube videos. Other than that, I would say that about covers it for what I can just do off the top of my head. Guys, I'm sure you have a lot more questions about this. Flood that comment box with a bunch more asking me about different things that changed. Maybe I'll do a second part to this video because I'm sure there's quite a bit more that I could bring up and talk about what becomes different when you've lived here long term. Those are some things that are in store for you should you decide to move here permanently. This has been JFAQ. I am Unrested. If you liked what you saw here today, please like, comment, and subscribe.